If you listen to a lot of the data out there, even listening to the news and some of the reports, it can sometimes seem a little overwhelmingly negative. Heck, Fannie Mae just came out and said only 16% of buyers think now is a good time to buy a home. So when you listen to this stuff and you hear all this negative data and you're like me in the real estate or mortgage space, there's some days you probably feel like this.
Run for your lives! Everyone run for cover! SOS! Mayday! Mayday! Hold that stuck in cover! You're all in danger!
Now, we may feel like that some days, and I was actually at a real estate presentation recently where I had someone ask me, did I think this was a good market or a bad market to either buy or sell real estate or actually to be in the real estate industry? And I actually thought about that and said, I think that's the wrong question to be asking. If it's a good or bad market is the wrong question. The right question is, what is the opportunity in any market? Because whether rates were super low and it was insanely competitive, right now we've got rates higher and affordability low, so you have less demand at the same time, really no inventory. Asking yourself what's the opportunity is the right question. And when I do these videos and look at the market, my goal is not to paint a picture one way or the other. It's to look at the data to figure out, as Wayne Gretzky would say, where is the puck going, so I can make tweaks or changes to the way I'm approaching how to get more business. Hey everyone, this is Rayce Robinson, your favorite Florida mortgage broker. And I wanted to look first at this article, which I think is really important, explaining kind of how I think the end of this year and into next year will go. This is an article from Lance Lambert. He says we're witnessing the fastest ever deterioration in housing market affordability. He says, sure, by measurements that in the 80s, right, when mortgage rates got to the high 18% in 1981, was technically more affordable. However, when it comes to the housing cycle, the pace of change is crucial. And right now, you can't blame buyers and industry professionals like for feeling a little dizzy, which is obviously true. If you've been in the market for more than 5 minutes, you know, just a few years ago, we were coaching buyers on how they need to pay over appraised value and compete against 42 other offers. And now the market is completely different. This is probably the crux of kind of what they're saying. This is Morgan Stanley analysts confirm we are seeing the fastest ever deterioration in housing affordability, and the monthly payment on the median priced home is up 27% year over year. But this is just crazy to me. It's 120% higher average payment from mortgage rate lows of 2.5 years ago. And then they have this chart here showing that U.S. housing affordability is worse than it was in 2008, showing, and this is just a graph where you can look back and kind of see affordability, which is a combination of median income, price, and rates, really kind of sitting at really almost record lows for sure in a long, long time. And I really like this statement here because we're going to come back to this. In total, there are 3 levers that can improve housing affordability: rising incomes, declining home prices, or lower mortgage rates. And then the last part here, and I know we're going into this article a little more in depth, and I'm going to link to it if you're watching this on YouTube, because it's a really good article to read. But this whole thing, if you were to summarize, they're talking about how the difference between 2007 and 12, where we had the crash, because there were so many homeowners with very little equity, not a big option to resell properties, and all the inventory came in from short sales. And now you have companies like CoreLogic, Fannie Mae, and Zillow don't see housing prices fall. They actually see home prices increasing in 2024. And they are saying in some markets nationally, there's going to be some markets that decline. But here in Central Florida, that is really not a concern. For us, especially in the real estate world or real estate industry, it's really about falling transactions. And the National Association of Realtors just came out with their most recent data, and we went under 4 million annualized transactions. To give you an idea, we were well over 6.5 million when things were booming. So transactions are falling, really almost getting to record lows. I think we were down to 2.5 million, I believe, in the 80s, but we are really below kind of anywhere historic low in a long time. So what do you do with this information? Because if we look at it from the frame, it's not good or bad. What does it tell us that we need to consider about working in this market through 2023 and, more importantly, 2024? Now, the data shows, in my opinion, that the market is going to feel very similar to now. The Fed is trying to keep rates higher for longer. And truthfully, I thought rates would be lower. In fact, if you look at inflation and CPI and all these things, They're about where I thought they would be, but rates didn't react the way that I thought they would. Now, most experts are predicting lower rates next year, but you can't set up your strategy based on what might happen because we really don't know. So, what do we want to do and how do we want to set up our business to make sure that we're successful in 2024? The biggest thing to me is to realize that a lot of your competition is going to get out of the market. As the market slows down, transactions continue to fall. I think they will continue to fall, especially throughout the winter. It means that there's going to be less and less realtors. If there's less fish, then there's going to be less people that can catch those fish. So with that analogy, it means you either have to have a bigger net or you have to get better at fishing. And I think you need to do both of those things. I recently worked with an agent who I talked to the person selling the home. They were the listing agent. And one of the things that we were able to do, which these are the kinds of creative things that will get you a few extra deals. We showed the seller that even though a move up would have cost him another $1,500 a month, most Americans have a lot of equity built in their home, probably more than they ever have. We showed them even with this move, raising their mortgage payment, they wiped out all of their debt because they could sell their house, pay off all their debt, have zero debt, and even though their monthly mortgage payment went up, their total monthly outgo went way down, and that gave that seller confidence to go ahead and sell their home because they really needed to move, and then they know they can always refinance later. And so doing things like that, there's seller held seconds, there's all kinds of creative things that you can do, and this is the time to be honing your skills. We're in a market where skills matter again. And there's a lot of agents who got in the business last 4 or 5 years. Nothing wrong with that. It's just it was a different puzzle. Now it's one where affordability is low, rates are high, and there's less people that want to buy. I always think of like selling to a hungry crowd. If you sell around dinner time, it's easy to sell hamburgers. But if you sell, right after everyone's ate dinner, it's going to be a lot harder to sell hamburgers. And right now, there's not a big appetite for real estate. So you have to get the largest net possible at the least amount of cost. But I want to end by showing you this article that I think is super important to look at if you're going to stay in the real estate business. This article was from American Banker, and it says the Financial Services Daily, is it time to quit mortgage, real estate, get out of the mortgage and real estate industry? That's to me is kind of what they're saying there. And if you would have read this article and listened to their advice, this article was actually written on January 8 of 2014. If you would have got out of the industry at that time, you would have missed one of the best opportunity over the last 8 or 9 years to be in the real estate and mortgage industry, and an opportunity to make some of the most amount of money that's been made in the industry. So in my opinion, the good news is even though transactions are falling, rates are higher, affordability is low, all the things that are true, those things will continue to improve. Your competition will get out of the business, and then we will get into a more normal market, whatever that means. And the people that are here are going to make a lot of money. They're going to be able to help a lot of people become homeowners. And if you're in the real estate or mortgage space, you want to keep building your skills, creating your own daily success plan, and check out my classes on every Tuesday because they're really awesome. Anyways, have a great day. This is Rayce Robinson, your favorite Florida mortgage broker. Have a great day, great week, great month, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.